let's switch gears and talk about the stuff you've done outside of wrestling. You've done a lot of charity work and things in
Oh
your
yeah.
community. Let's talk about some of the organizations that you partnered with.
So like, so one of the big ones that I started. All right. So I'm a big fan of mixed martial arts, and that Francis Ngannou, who's now about to fight Anthony Joshua. Like he came onto my radar when after he knocked out Alistair Overeem, and then I heard about his journey. You heard? Have you ever heard Francis
Yeah,
Ngannou's story?
yeah, I
How,
think
how
yeah, I've looked into it, read
he had to
about it.
like he had to like human smuggle himself from
Hmm.
Cameroon all up through northern Africa.
Yeah,
So when I all this, and he finally made it, and I saw he put up Francis Ngannou Foundation. He's like, I want to build a gym, so the village that I came from, now these kids will have a gym to train at. I'm like, I'm all in. So I would donate under my name, under um, Bammer's name, my brother's name, and and I would like watch. So what they did was Francis put out a gimmick on Instagram. I know this because I heard the guy on a podcast saying looking for a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or MMA coach to volunteer at my gym in Cameroon for a year. So this black belt named Sam from the UK, he he volunteered, and long story short, he didn't speak the language because in Cameroon they speak French. He spoke English, and he didn't know if it was going to work when he first got there, right? But then he started picking up the language, and all the kids started getting really, really good, and you could see their progress getting really, really good. And he would be like, he put up little things for GoFundMe's. He'd be like, I don't want to ask Francis for like any little thing. He's like, but I have bags of clothes and this and that in the UK. So I'm gonna set up a GoFundMe for that. So I would like, hook him up with that. Um, donate to things here and there. And now the guy Sam brought back. He adopted two kids from Cameroon who didn't really have fathers. The one kid Frank, and then there's another. He brought the kid Frank back with him to England to compete in jiu-jitsu as a blue belt originally, and the kid Frank from Cameroon is smashing everyone. Like
wow.
the kid's doing so well, and so he because he adopted him in Cameroon, it doesn't give him it doesn't translate to him being able to live in England as it would somewhere else. They need to file they have an immigration attorney, and with their long story short, they're trying to get Frank permanent residency there in the UK because they want to start a gym together. So anybody out there who wants to help out, you can go to Sam Crook, SAMCROOK BJJ on Instagram, and there'll be a GoFundMe page there, and that'll link to his son Frank, his adopted son Frank Takaju, and it'll and you can see his jujitsu matches and how this guy is a really exciting jujitsu fighter, and just been running through people left and right. And then there's other kids coming up in like Africa right now that are going to be in PFL Africa. Like MMA is becoming really big in Cameroon right now, and I'm really stoked because like I started watching these kids. Like I recently got Instagram, but I would Google like I found out the guy Sam's name, so I'd Google his name, and I'd be able to see like the videos of the kids' progress like through the years. And then I finally got Instagram, and then I started like chatting with some of them because they saw that I was a wrestler, and we started bullshitting. So then I'm just like kind of invested. I want to see these kids like do good, and and be like the next generation of like really really great MMA guys.
Yeah.
Because that seems like they all really want to do, and they're all really good at it. Frank especially, this kid Kelvin is like really high level. I think there's 10 blue belts there now, but they also do judo, and the mixed martial arts is getting really big in that
Hmm.
part of West Africa. So
Yeah.
like that like I'm really stoked about that. So I mean, like I just if there's if there's something that I can feel that I can do, I like to do it. And even on like a personal level of, like just helping people out of situations like for example, I'm divorced now, but when I was married, um the my ex's family had a house that was the neighborhood used to be all Italian, and then it changed and it was a Hispanic neighborhood, and me and her renovated the house, whatever. So the neighborhood was it was it was a city, so kind of good blocks, bad blocks. There were some guys on the corner that would do their thing. There were kids, but whatever. But there was this one kid who was my neighbor, who was 20 something, you know, didn't he wasn't like a street kid, but he hung out with those kids and he always be like, yo, he's like, can I cut your grass for 40 bucks? Can I wash your car for 40 bucks? One day he's crying. I'm like, what's going on, dude? He's like, he's like, I got a ticket and I don't have the money to pay it. And I'm not going to, and then when I don't pay it, I'm going to end up going to freaking jail. And I'm like, dude, let's have a talk here, man. I'm like, I'll give you the 40 bucks or 50 bucks to pay your ticket, but you can't make a living cutting my grass. I'm like, what do you like to do? Like, let's develop a plan here. So we start talking, and he's like, I like being a chef. I like being a cook. I'm like, go down to Hoboken. We were in a town city called Union City. I'm like, go down to Hoboken in Jersey City, start working there, and work your way through. So long story short, I don't see him for a while. I see him maybe 8 months later, and he's like, dude, he's like, after that whole thing, I got my legal situation set. I paid off my ticket. I didn't get arrested. I ended up getting this job right on at this really nice restaurant on the waterfront, and now I'm a line chef, and I want to be I want to be a chef, and I just got my own place on Tunnelly Ave with me and my girl, and we just had a kid. I'm just like shit like that, like I get stoked about, just
Yeah.
like I like helping people. My brother was the same way. I think that's how. That's probably where I, where I get it from.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely important to give back and to help others that are in need. What gives you the most joy when it comes to helping out in your community?
I what I like seeing people be happy and be good and do better, and like watching people achieve what they wanted to achieve, like uh, helping. I'm trying to think like how to like phrase it. It's really cool when you get behind someone, and you support them and you help them out, and then you see them go on and achieve what they wanted to, and now they're on a good path, as opposed to where they were before, kind of without you know uh they didn't know where they stood in life,
Right.
and now they're doing better, and they're passionate about something, and they love what they're doing. So I'm not saying that I like go out there and like actively look for people to mentor, but if someone like comes across my path, and sometimes people meet for a reason, and shit ends up working out.